Hi, I'm Tatyana.
And I'm Serban.
And we are teachers and owners at the Wallingford Piano and Violin Studio. I teach piano.
And I teach violin, viola, and music theory.
And we're going to tell you a little bit about how we got started in our careers and how we ended up where we are today. We both started lessons at a very young age. I was 6.
And I was 7, actually.
And there were many, many years of practicing and lessons involved, not always necessarily voluntarily from us.
Just with a little bit of nudging. Like, for example, my grandma was very involved into my lessons and to my daily practice. And when things were getting heated up, she would end up chasing me around the table. And I knew that if I run enough, at some point she would actually give up and start laughing, and then things were kind of a little calmer again.
And I spent a lot of time hiding in various parts of the house with a book to avoid practicing, so definitely not without its pitfalls, like most kids. But eventually, as we got older and we got more serious about music, we practiced more independently. And eventually we auditioned for music schools for undergraduate, and that involved an audition and playing in front of faculty. And I did 4 years of undergraduate music performance studying piano, and
I did 5 years of undergraduate in music performance in violin.
It was a little different because it was in Romania, right? So the
Yes.
schooling system was a little bit different there. So what did yours involve?
My undergrad?
Yeah.
Besides the regular instrumental lessons, violin lessons, I also had to learn how to play piano and chamber music, and we did lots of orchestra, and that was one of the most rewarding parts, because when we played in the orchestra we actually got to tour with our orchestra in different countries in Europe, and actually also went to South Korea. So that was definitely one of the highlights of my undergrad.
And then we both did our master's degrees in the US. And after that, actually I'd already started teaching during my undergraduate studies with some students from my teacher. And although that was not initially where I thought that my music career would take me, I actually very much enjoyed it from the beginning. And after our master's degrees, we both started teaching. And we have both found it to be very rewarding and very enjoyable. It's actually one of the most unusual things, I think, about the way that music teachers teach, is that we get to actually watch the kids grow up. And we've been teaching long enough at this point that we have seen some of them grow up all the way from kindergarten to graduating high school. So it's been a wonderful experience from that point of view, and we have also gotten to learn lots of new skills along the way. For example, I got very interested in how the brain works and how we learn. So I did a lot of research and writing on that, and also what helps to motivate us to practice, remembering our own troubles with motivation and when we were little, and how that develops as we get older. So there are a lot of opportunities to learn as you go. Even as you're teaching, you're still learning all the time. Can you talk a little bit about your teaching experience?
Yes, it's been very interesting to see how our students, their learning process is changing over the years, and with that also their way of dealing with frustration that we get to deal with every day in general in life, but especially when learning music.
And learning music is, most people think of it as a useful skill, as a good way to express your emotions, but it's also something that you can use in everyday life, like you said, to deal with frustration or to have long-term goals. So all these things, even if most of our students don't become musicians, they do get to learn these skills and use them for many, many years. And it's been lovely to have some of them come back and say, music is now a big part of my life. And even if they go on and they major in something else, we have students who have gone on to major in completely unrelated things to music, but they still play in the university orchestra, or they just still play for their own pleasure. So that's definitely been a really rewarding, like I said, a wonderful experience. On the business side, I mean, we're, as much as we're also musicians and teachers, we have to be business owners. So there are aspects of running the studio that involve billing and your usual business side of things. So it's, and we kind of, learned as we went along with some bumps along the way. So I think it would be useful to have some knowledge in running a business, dealing with taxes, self-employment things, scheduling. Yes, that can get to be quite a bit of fun with everybody's activities going on. So there are those side kind of business things that need to be dealt with. Anything else you would like to add to that?
Well, I was just thinking about our studio policy, how when we started, we thought about the important ideas that we wanted to outline for our students' parents. And then as we went along and taught over the years, we encountered different situations. So our studio policy has gotten longer and longer.
Yes, and now we get to pass that knowledge on, because actually one of my high school students that I've been teaching since she was in kindergarten is going to start apprentice teaching for me. So it's been a lot of fun to introduce her to the world of studio policies and what things you want to put in and how clear you want to be. And so that's been an interesting kind of mirror experience to actually now not only teach her how to play, but also teach her how to teach and how to run a studio.
You've gone full circle there.
Yes, I've gone full circle. And also, I think a little bit more for you, because piano is not quite as applicable to this, but you have a lot of students who play in the school orchestras and also in youth orchestras. So which youth orchestras do you have students in?
Well, right now I have students who play in the Youth Musicians Orchestra and also the Delaware County Youth Orchestra, but had students over the years playing, also doing the district orchestra auditions, getting all the way from the district level to national level, actually. And that's indeed more for strings rather than for piano. It's opening also a very important door there, the social factor of being able to make music together with other students or other people their age, and that actually has been carried on by some of the students even after they've graduated college.
Yeah, and it's a good way also to, like we talked about a little bit earlier, to have the motivation to continue practicing, because you get to play with your friends. And we have also done this in chamber music, right, which means more than one person playing together. So sometimes we'll have people playing duets, sometimes both piano, or sometimes both violin, or sometimes we'll combine them if it's possible. And that's been a lot of fun to work with also. And coming back a little bit to kind of learning new things, over the course of the pandemic, we were teaching mostly online, so we had to figure out how to work with technology. So we've learned quite a bit about that along the way, and that's probably not something that we would have gotten into a lot if we didn't have to do it, but having the flexibility to do that. And
thank you, pandemic.
Yeah. So I think that generally covers what we do. Is there anything that you would like to add to that?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you for this opportunity, and I hope you enjoy our little chat about what we do.